Hey guys, welcome back to another review. Today we're looking at PureVPN. I just want to say thanks for helping me get to 100 subscribers. Not a big number, I know, compared to some channels, but this is going good for Best in VPN. So thanks for watching these reviews. And today we're going to be helping you decide if you should buy PureVPN or not. Now we're going to look at the pricing. Right away, we're going to see that it is $11.95 for 1 month. We got a 2-year plan and a 6-month plan right up front. 6-month plan still not going to be too affordable. It's going to be $8.95 per month. The 2-year plan, they kind of hit you over the head with these smaller pricing points. But coin payments, we're going to see a lot of payments here for cryptocurrency. Really good to see. Right now, I'm kind of doing everything at once. We got live chat popping up here. We're going to test that out as well right now. You could actually see some gift card payments there, which is good to see. Standard options like PayPal, credit card. So yeah, overall, I would say PureVPN is kind of expensive compared to some VPNs. Right now, we're going to look at some of the features. We got 5 simultaneous logins. You got some split tunneling. You got live chat support right there. It's bragging about that. We're testing it out still. 256 encryption, good to see. We got OpenVPN protocol. Later on in the app, there's also other support for other protocols. It kind of defaults to some of them sometimes, which I don't like. We got a kill switch. We got a NAT firewall. Now we're going to go ahead and test some of the live chat out, see if this person's really helpful, see what she knows. Looks like her name is Hazel. She's actually querying me right now. How may I assist you? So she's right on the ball right there, guys. They really want to talk to me. So I'm going to get that out of the way in a second. I'm going to ask her some questions. How much is a dedicated IP address? She's going to help me out with that. So here's some more of the features we got here. And now it's going to be $2 per month, around $1.99. That's a pretty good deal actually for dedicated IP. Now I'm asking her if there's any trial option for you guys out there. Seems like the only option is around $3 for some kind of 3-day plan. That's one I want to stick with, $2.50 actually. So I'm asking if the dedicated IP works with Netflix streaming. I know some of the VPNs use this to work with Netflix. Now the Netflix just kind of works natively, I guess, on PureVPN. Later on, I go ahead and test this, and spoiler, not too good results. I actually made another video separate from this talking about how it doesn't work. So if you're looking for Netflix VPN right away, I can tell you that PureVPN is not going to be it. However, setup is pretty simple here. Got the basic pay, install. You're going to use login credentials in your email, so keep a lookout for that. You're not going to use the same credentials that you log in on the website. Now, setting up the service here is pretty simple. The application is a little bit simple. You use these tabs to pick which thing you want to do. Now, I'm not really a fan of this system. It's kind of simple, but at the same time, it's kind of complicated. What kind of settings are you going to be using with streaming? What are you going to be using with internet freedom? The app kind of tries to take away some of the stop process, but for someone like me who likes to know exactly what's happening when I'm connecting to a VPN, not a huge fan of this. But if you're someone who just wants to have a singular purpose, this could be okay. However, some of the options, didn't really work for me later on. I'll show you. But right away, we got some settings here. Not too bad. We got some kill switches. We got some security features. Most of the mandatory stuff you're going to need. Overall, they have pretty good settings here. Some little extra things you might not need, however, like the VPN hotspot. Got split tunneling. That's a cool feature to have. ExpressVPN just added that as well. So you might see more VPNs kind of starting to add in split tunneling. We've got some control settings here. And here's the protocols I mentioned here. I don't really like how they have so many here to choose from. In some ways, more options the better usually. But some of the, like I said, some of the use cases for that app kind of automatically switch to some of the protocols I would really recommend using. Now, OpenVPN is probably the best protocol to use. You can see here you have some of these options here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just test some of the basic connections here, see what kind of speeds we're going to get, see what kind of speeds that we're going to get for browsing, maybe torrenting, some things like that. So right away, we're getting pretty good speeds with PureVPN from a speed test. This is just kind of like the security tab. So not too bad speeds overall. PureVPN, definitely their speeds are serviceable, okay. Not one of their low points, that's for sure. However, one thing I would say is their low point is the application's usability and performance. Sometimes it can feel glitchy and unstable. Sometimes it doesn't connect correctly. Sometimes I had to even close down the app with the task manager. Now, when I did my PureVPN review a couple of years ago, I found the same things then. Even though the application looked different then, it still has some problems here and there. Connecting to this PTP server, for example, the native one didn't really work. I had to kind of play around with it a little bit and pick the right server to get it to work. You can see it's taking quite a bit of time to connect here, and just kind of wasted my time. So yeah, you can see it's kind of trying to connect to the L2TP. That's what I mentioned before. Some of these protocols really recommend using. It might give you some increased speeds for torrenting, but depending on where you are in the world, torrenting might not be the most secure thing to be doing. So I did manage to get to work by connecting to a different server. Like I said, I kind of had to play around, find a server that did work with their PTP option. Now you would think that just connecting to the PTP tab would work automatically, but like I said before, it's a little bit more complicated. You have to kind of play around with it. So you can see we're getting pretty good speeds though with this server I picked. So 4 to 5 megabytes a second. Not a bad speed. Pretty standard fare there for torrent speeds with a VPN. Now I go ahead and ask the live chat again if they do have a proxy server. I like using a proxy with my torrenting. It's just easy to put it in the settings and just kind of forget about it. Sometimes you don't want to have to start up your VPN every time when you are torrenting. Now we have IP addresses here which I can for any leaks, and fortunately we didn't really see any here. Seems to be pretty standard fare, showing us we're in Arizona, which is a server that I guess it picked for us. So right here I'm going to go ahead and test out the Netflix streaming to see if PureVPN is really all that's cracked up to be. Does it work with Netflix? And like I mentioned before, I couldn't really get to work. I actually got a lot of weird errors here. You can see that the website doesn't really load properly. It's just kind of buggy. I really couldn't even connect to the internet. I'm not really sure what was going on here, but if you're looking to use a Netflix VPN, I would recommend something like NordVPN, Windscribe, TorGuard, and SaferVPN has been known to work as well. Some of my tests here on the channel. Go ahead and check out some of my live tests if you want to see the ones that do work. Now I could already say that BufferedVPN and some other VPNs do not work. Private Internet Access is another one that doesn't work, and ExpressVPN doesn't work with Netflix right now either. Right now we're looking at the privacy policy, pretty much just standard fare here. But I do want to caution you to watch out, because I do have a video about top 5 PureVPN screw-ups, and in the past they've kind of had some leaks and hacks and things kind of go down that are a little bit sketchy. Now a lot of these probably aren't the biggest deal, and of course the company's just going to say nothing happened, but it's just something to keep in mind if you're super concerned about privacy and things like that. Hey, so this is probably the part you've been waiting for. So should you buy PureVPN? Well, yes and no. So on paper, PureVPN seems like a pretty good VPN actually. They have decent encryption. Their live chat is actually super responsive and helpful. They have a pretty standard 7-day refund policy. They have more crypto payments than most VPNs I've seen out there, which is good if you love cryptocurrency. They have pretty decent security features with some stealth VPN options, split tunneling, a little bit of extras like that. They have dedicated IPs that are pretty affordable. I already mentioned the live chat. The website's pretty helpful with a lot of information and features to help you understand about VPN and what PureVPN offers. However, using the app and just the service in general isn't quite as good as I would like. Right away, it's a bit more expensive than some other VPNs that compete with PureVPN. It's around $11.95 per month for the 1 month price, and I think a better price is around $9.99. More and more VPNs are kind of stretching towards that upper limit, I think, as they become a little bit more usable, a little bit better, but I still think that you could find better VPNs for cheaper. Another thing is that it doesn't really seem to work with Netflix. The streaming option was just kind of glitchy and unresponsive. And overall, I found that the app was also a little bit glitchy and prone to crashes. In my past review I did a couple of years ago, I found the same thing then. It was a lot worse then. Now it's a little bit improved, but I still found a couple times that the VPN would kind of freeze and I'd have to go to the task manager, close it down, and things like that. It's kind of unusable sometimes. Now, as stars align, it'll work fine occasionally if you just do everything, super simple. But if you start kind of messing around with some of the settings and things like that, it can be a bit confusing and crash. Another thing I didn't really touch on too much is that a lot of the protocols and things like that inside the app are, kind of outdated. Some of the tabs kind of default to some of the older protocols, which is not that great. I guess if you're trying to increase speeds and things like that, but for VPN noobs that are picking these tabs, not really sure what they're doing. I think the simplicity of the app can actually kind of make it a little bit complicated and complex. Because you could have someone going in, for example, picking one of these tabs and not really understanding what they're doing and just using it. Now, I guess that could be okay in some ways, but in other ways, it's not really transparent exactly what each tab is offering and, why it does it like that. I guess if you want to do a ton of research on the website, you could probably find that out, but I just think the interface is a little too simple and it kind of makes it a little more complicated. I think what they're trying to do with that is kind of cool, but overall, I just don't really think it works that well. Now, the company also kind of has a little bit of a sketchy past. I've already made a video about, some of their screw ups. One of their little side blogs got hacked one time. They've kind of leaked some information out about some criminals, which is, a lot of people don't like when this happens, even though it might be beneficial for criminals to be put away. They don't like when a VPN kind of gives away logs. So I can't really guarantee PureVPN's not collecting stuff and storing stuff. And if you're really concerned about that, if you're a privacy conscious consumer who's, a little bit paranoid, maybe PureVPN might not be the best VPN to use, although the privacy policy seems okay and overall their security seems to be good as well. Alright, well, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching this video. My final conclusion, if you should buy PureVPN or not, is probably going to be no. You could find cheaper VPN options out there that have better apps that are more usable, might have faster speeds. These other VPN competitors out there might just be an easier time all around. I can't guarantee that PureVPN is going to really work with Netflix at all, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I just think there's some better options out there. Check around the VPN reviews on the channel. Right now I could recommend some like TorGuard, WinScribe, IPVanish, Private Internet Access, even NordVPN impressed me lately. So thanks for watching this video. I'm Tom Sparks signing out with this PureVPN review. Thanks for watching.